Okay, I guess I'm going to start since you guys are waiting. Hello, welcome to the Three Orcs YouTube channel. This is David, and this week on my live stream every Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific, we go over the what I've done all week, the update of all the project that I've been working on from day to day. I work on it 4 to 5 hours a day, and not everybody can keep up with the project and all the work I do. So I decided to have this live stream so that way I can catch everybody up to date all at once and have guests on and talk about other things too. Sometimes I start off this stream with a book I've been reading, which I'm still in the middle of reading right now, which is some sort of dungeon new book that got bestseller. And I'm halfway through it, so I don't really have a lot to comment about it. But also, hello, Damon. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it for joining this live stream. I haven't talked to you lately. And Tracy, thank you for joining. I appreciate that too. Well, some news and what I've been doing. So I was going to have a guest. He's a programmer. He's a coder, and he's creating an app for me. He's creating an app for it's called a Dungeon Master Command Center. It's for running the campaign. You know how you have a question about the campaign world, either the box set or some lore book or the campaign itself, these 1,500 articles that I wrote in the last 8 years. And there's a lot of NPCs, a lot of organizations, a lot of locations. There's a lot going on. It's like Game of Thrones meets the Temple of Elemental Evil. And it's really hard for any Dungeon Master to, even myself, to wrap your mind around everything that's going on in the campaign and try to figure out what will happen next in your campaign. And that's what the Three Orcs Discord channel is for, to answer Dungeon Masters questions and share their session reports. And that's what we do. And I'll point that out a little bit later and go over our session report I just got from one of our DMs. And also I'll have a guest on, either an author from Living Greyhawk or something like that. So some new news. So let's go ahead and show you that first, what's been going on. Now, obviously, there's been a lot of YouTube videos about this already. And it's very short. It's just very short news here about what's happening. Because at Gary Con, I guess Luke Gygax met with Dan Ayob from Wizards of the Coast. And it looks like Gygax is working on a book called Melf's Guide to Greyhawk. There's no other information. Luke is the son of Gary Gygax, the co-creator. So the character Melf of Melf's Acid Arrow, the spell, well, that's his player character back in the day when, Gary Gygax ran his home game in the 70s. And that's where a lot of these spells and characters came from in the world of Greyhawk. And that's why I always say the world of Greyhawk is Dungeons and Dragons. Everything other campaign worlds that came out since then are just offshoots of that. And this is the original traditional D&D campaign. And that's what I run. And one of the best campaigns you could run is the Temple of Elemental Evil. And that's what we're all here for. And that's what I've been working on for the last 8 years. It looks like they did a little video about it. And so there's some comments. The comments that Dan made was, I think probably the thing that I'm excited about, many things that we're going to be doing. One of the biggest things I'm most excited about is Luke coming back into the franchise, and we're going to do some stuff together. You want to talk a little bit about this? What are you going to be doing? And then Luke answered, yeah, absolutely. So obviously I grew up playing in Greyhawk, and so that was something special to me and, meaning. And if you look at the names, the beautiful map of Darlene that Darlene did, and Darlene was here at GaryCon, if you talk to her, this beautiful map that she created, the names on that are a lot of names after not only my family, but of a lot of friends and relatives. So it's a place where I did all those adventures as Otis the Ranger. Otis is stationed in the village of Knoll right now. And Hamlet, and Steadying of the Hill Giant Chief, the G1 module, and Glacial Rift of the Frost Giant Jarl, which is the G2 module. And these are modules you can run in your campaign to make it the epic sandbox campaign. And also you're sent into the Underdark, where this campaign could end up at. Into the depths. So the D1 through 3, and then the Q1 module. Okay, so you continue to say that all those places are seminal memories for me. And so getting a chance to put my stamp or my input or return to the Greyhawk and kind of keep the Gygax a Greyhawk really. I said, yes, let's do that. Is there any chance? I was like, yes. There is a big chance that let's do this thing. And so that's going to be great. And I was working on it with because Greyhawk is not supported for a long time officially, except for the Dungeon Masters Guild, which is fan content. But there's a huge community that loves Greyhawk, that community of fan content. And so I was getting together with some of the folks, like Anna Myers, she makes all those maps and that sort of stuff, and Jay Scott and a few others. And I was talking about doing, an official Melf's Guide and putting it there. And so I was working on that, and we're looking to put it out officially through Wizards of the Coast, which would be awesome. I love the idea. And there's a few things where I'm going to be writing some adventures primarily in Greyhawk, because that's my first love with adventuring in Greyhawk and the cast of Greyhawk, and whether it was Otis or Melf. So what this is saying is, before this happened, he was thinking, like what I thought of and a lot of other people thought, was to go ahead and write a module or a guide and put it up on the Dungeon Masters Guild. And you're allowed to, because that website is the only website in existence that Wizards of the Coast allows anybody to publish Greyhawk material. And they get 50% of the cut. So this is great, because before you couldn't do it anywhere at all, period. Now, you can release Greyhawk products that's fan content anywhere, as long as you don't make money. And but if you want to make money and make it a commercial product, you're allowed to release it on the Dungeon Masters Guild. And it looks like that's what Luke Gygax was considering doing. And a lot of these old guard they've been thinking about this a lot lately. And as you know, and from my experience, a lot of these guys, move a little bit slow on these projects, and they finally get around to it a little bit late to the show, or they finally get around to it or whatever. And so I noticed more and more people are getting on the bandwagon to get that done, especially when they saw my the Village of Nold module that I produced, and I published it on Dungeon Masters Guild, and I got the #1 bestseller twice. So I think they all saw that, and they all kind of freaked out. Gary Joseph Block of Greyhawk Grognard, he's doing the same thing. He's publishing all his Greyhawk lore books and rule books there on Dungeon Masters Guild too, and he's enjoying some great success. So a lot of people are doing that, and that's the go-to. So then this happened. So he's going to be officially working with Wizards of the Coast. I don't necessarily know if he's going to be an employee or not, but that's fine. And then the article continues on with about the upcoming D&D seasons, or whatever they call that these days, which really doesn't matter to us, because we're running traditional D&D in the world of Greyhawk. But so I think this book that he's working on is much like any other Dungeon Master supplemental campaign guide. And he's going to be working on Melf's Guide to Greyhawk, which is basically probably real similar to what Greyhawk Ragnar produced. I'm pretty sure about that. Which is fine. It's going to be his version of it based on the original material with Gary Gygax. And I expect it's going to be 5e compatible. I think you have to in the DM's Guild anyway, right? So now he's going to do this officially through Wizards of the Coast. So I emailed him, by the way, and let him know about our website, this project. And so I doubt if he's going to reply, but I told him, if you want to collaborate on anything, go ahead and message me back, and we can do that. Because 8 years of this stuff published, and also the modules. I got 6 modules I made too. So I think that's worth something for him to might consider. All right, so that's one thing I want to talk about. Now, I want to talk about what I did all week. I think I'll do that next, because I got a lot to go over. So last week, so there's the Earth Temple, right? So the Earth Temple, Earth, Air, Fire, and Water, the 4 temples, the 4 minor temples, and the Temple of Elemental Evil. Well, they should have their own outpost out there, because they're actively recruiting, bringing in supplies, bringing in prisoners, and raiding. The module, doesn't tell you that specifically, but Gary Gygax in interviews expected that in his campaign that happened. And the Moat House is the only raiding outpost out there. So the Moat House, run by Lareth, is from the Greater Temple. So Romog of the Earth Temple sent his Reavers. It's coined from the module, the Reavers, Earth Temple Reavers. And he sent them out to around Hamlet here And that picture right there, it's a rough version of what Hamlet looks like right there in the middle, with Bernard Rufus's tower and the Temple of St. Cuthbert. And that's the long road. It's not exact, but it gives you a good idea visually, you know, with the landscape. So on this, in the Crown Hills are a little craggy and rough terrain. So this abandoned monastery of Heironeous, which has a really semi-official background. You know, these Greyhawk lore experts I worked with developed this background, so it fits perfectly canonical. So that's located here within 5 miles. And then 5 miles north of Hamlet is that old abandoned watchtower from the Hateful Wars. And the Fire Temple took that over. They're conducting a ritual up there and invited all the local druids to come check it out. That's going to be a lot of fun. So anyway, this main article, is the main article for the Earth Temple Outpost. They took over this abandoned, not quite abandoned, but forgotten about Monastery of Heironeous from the Long Wars and the Short War. Anyway, the whole background's there. So this is the main page. So everything you want to know in a nutshell on one page is here about the location, right? And we went over this a couple of weeks ago. So on the right-hand side, below all these facts, you know, who's here. I got to make these linkable right here, these names, because they all have their own articles, the stat blocks and artwork. Okay, so on the right-hand side, there's a timeline. So this place was created at -12 Common Year. Like I said, the Long War was 350, and then something happened in 438. So there's a whole article alone on this subject. But anyway, below all that is the table of contents. So look what I've done so far. So 1 through 18 is done. Last week, we talked about 14. So this week, I did 15, 16, and 17, and 18. So let's go ahead and take a look at those real quick. So that's what the Reavers look like. Those turned out pretty good, I thought. Not bad. And then down here it's a big article. Even wandering monster charts and stuff. Random encounter charts. Total strength. There's 20 Reavers, 8 Raiders, 4 Black Earth Guards, 32 total. I got an alarm chart. Anyway, I got a lot here. It's pretty cool. Everything you need to know as a Dungeon Master to run this place is here. I thought of everything. Okay, so last week we did 14. And I went over this. This is the actual chapel. Oh, the map. I didn't download it. So I'm still almost done with the map. It's almost done. I shared it in Discord. Let me pull up Discord real quick. So Discord. So you're welcome to join the 3orcs Discord, because this is where we talk about this every day and work on it and collaborate with it. And you guys can pitch in. Wow, I did a lot this week. I'm gonna try to go through this quickly. Okay, where's that map at? Wow, look at all that stuff. It's crazy. Okay, here's this map. You know what? I'm just gonna bring it over. Oops, I'm just gonna bring it over, and yeah, it's my Discord. This is just the front area. So this is half of the complex. I just did a screenshot of the front half to put in Discord to show everybody that I started filling in the details, the furniture, the rubble, some horses. It's still in progress. So I like to go over and over again, little tiny details. It's like never ending. And I got to do the outer grounds. I got to put grass and bushes and trees and rocks and stuff out there too. So on this map, if I did a hard push 2 nights in a row, I could probably get it done. I got a new video game. It's on that new one, that new RPG. It's I can't remember. Black Desert. Yeah, Black Desert. Anyway, it's awesome. It's like Skyrim, Elder Scrolls Skyrim, twice as big. So I'm having a lot of fun. I'm still only 2nd level. Anyway, see, I post stuff in here to show you guys that I've been working on this stuff, and you guys can comment. Like, okay, you got that wrong. Fix it. Things like that, right? Let's see. Look at all that stuff I did. It's crazy. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to get that ready. Okay, I'll look at that in a minute. That's the lower level. Okay, so anyway, I did this last week. So this is the chapel, and I didn't show you the map. So this room is not on that map I showed you. It's to the north through the front doors. So I showed you this last week, and as you can see, it's a massive article with wandering random encounter tables, a puzzle with a trap, these temple defenders. So the people that took over the Black Earth Temple raiders and their leadership priests are having problems. They can't access this, so they're trying to. They're currently, and so the players will get here and maybe they can open it up. But these will attack these helms of Heironeous. They got lightning bolts coming out of them, and there's a whole stat block for them right here. Anyway, in case you weren't here last week, that's what I did. So I showed you guys all that in a lot more detail last week. So that was 14. And 15 was the Sacristy. So I did some research on what a monastery should have, the different rooms. So I try to make it as realistic as possible. So this room is done. And the artwork's pretty dark. And I got the Earth Temple symbols on hanging by tapestries there. So this is a robing chamber for the priest of Heironeous back in the day when it was active. And as you know from the history why it's not active anymore, there's only the custodian that's here now. And so, of course, Romog's raiders came here and took the place over. So I still have to make his stat block, his article. Okay, so anyway, it talks about what this place was used for. The Earth Temple seized it, looted but not converted. The vestments are torn apart, trampled, holy oil spilled, yada, yada. Desecration is casual, almost like it's indifferent. So it gives a little bit of a tone here of how this place was treated. And then we have the flavor text of what to read to your players when they first walk in. And then you have the cedar closet. Cedar. So I put some DC checks in here for you 5e players that need help with stuff. That's his secret hidden cache right there. Halvin is the custodian. I need to make an article for him. The stone preparation table, DC checks again. A lot of information here. The supplies that the Black Earth Raiders brought. So they're working with Duergar, the dark dwarves, Duergar, and I haven't keyed them yet, but I referenced them quite a bit in all these articles. So they're down below mining to access something. So that's that. They deface their vestment. DC checks again. This is his hidden cache. DC checks again. This is what's in his cache. The journal, holy symbol, vial of consecrated oil. More flavor text. Oh, this is from his journal. So I didn't make a piece of artwork for this. So I just put the flavor text there to read to the players. I might make a page artwork to show that page. I just haven't done that. Encounters. What could happen here? Who could come in. So there's 3 things that could be happening at any given time. During the ritual, during the daytime, at night, between rituals, during a monastery alert, So it gives you enough information as a Dungeon Master to run this place. DM notes, a pivot, a desecration, the hidden cache, the pacing, the grave, the vestment as a relic, acolytes, information. They're information sources. You can interrogate them, right? Well, here you go. Bam. You got everything you need to know to tell your players. How the doors here work, what they lead to. So common player actions. I started doing this recently. So I search the closet, DC check. I examine the preparation table. I look at the tools. I look at the vestments on the wall. I read the player journal. I interrogate the acolytes. I use holy oil. I try to detect magic in the room. So this will kind of give you like DM tips on how to handle those things for your players. I try to be helpful as possible to help you guys run your campaign. On the right-hand side is a whole list of facts about this room and a lot of links to related topics about this room and location. Those are the NPCs. You pop up, click it again, full article with artwork. Okay, room reference. Room reference facts listed in bullet point for ease of reference. DM quick reference. Again, I went overboard on this. A lot of DC checks. Okay, here's the journal. So Haven Sear's prayer journal. So the first entry, second entry, last entry, and the final entry, it's all written out here as you go flip through the book. And what I did, I didn't add it. So what I did was, I put it in Discord. So I have to add it to the article still. Dang it. Okay, where does it go? There it is. So I did. This is the kind of art style I haven't tried before. I decided to make all these pages because they're on different pages of his journal, and I collaged them together on one clear handout. And it's some important information on here. See that? Very pivotal stuff here. Talks about the Black Mouth, the Heironeous Priest, Stonefang. Yeah, this is important stuff. Players are going to be thrilled to get this. It's a lot of revelation, reveals a lot of information about this campaign there. Things like that. Okay, so that's 15. Next, trying to go quick. 16, the scriptorium. So this, as you can see, is a bunch of work tables for writing and shelving and books and journals. It's the records chamber of the Azure Oath. The Azure Oath is the paladins of Heironeous priests that used to use this as a home base. By the way, remember last time I told you guys, the reason this place isn't in use anymore is because of politics and money. So the base of Heironeous now is in the Abbey to the west, right here. The Abbey of the Valorous Knight. So this is the western half of the Viscounty. And this location, in case you weren't here last time, is right here below Hamlet, 5 miles from south. Every hex on here is 3 miles. The reason I can't see it is because we have to go to the DM location. There it is right there. Oh, I got to redo that still, that pop-up. Anyway, that's where it's located. 5 miles south of Hamlet. Fire Temple, 5 miles north of Hamlet. Water Temple, 5 miles, 10 miles, 7 miles north of Nob. Temple of Elemental Evil. Who knows where that is, right? The hunting cabin with the secret tunnel that goes to room 335. Hill Giant mine they took over, raiding Sheernob. The Knoll Fort, the Jagged Fang tribe. To the south is the Bugbear tribe. And I went over that quite a few times. There's the Ancient Shul ruins for the Noble Ambitions quest line right there in the Gnarly Forest. The players get to second level after doing that dungeon. Then they go to the Mud House. All right, so we just go back to the article. So this is the scriptorium, flavor text, blah, blah, blah. Why you guys are a bunch of jerks. They're doing stuff here. They use it as the military intelligence center. The wall map, there's a wall map here, which I have not made yet. So I'm going to have to make a loose representation of the map and make a graphic art piece out of it. So we can use it as a player handout. I still got to do that. It talks about the high road and the long road and Greenway Valley and Cron Hills. So if they want to do some DC checks, they can find out all their raid sites. They mark the staging areas, the raids. There's color-coded history, and here's some quotes. This intelligence is about the Rayo delegation. The Earth Temple has been tracking high-profile diplomatic targets. Rayo Del, 3 wagons, Temple escort, silk banners, South Road watch. Bam, little note right there. So this clue. They hit the delegation going to the Selene, to Queen Yolanda in the fake kingdom of Selene with the gift of beauty to open her borders again. They hit that. They took it. They have the gift of beauty here at this site. And we'll show you that in a minute. The ledger. So I made a ledger with a chart. So you can use, at least you got this information here. With some DC checks to help you role play the chart. The Caravan Seal Press. So it's from the Guild of Merchantry and Brokerage. Maris uses it to forge toll writs. He uses it to forge the toll writs. A writ. DC investigation. Scroll cubby holes. And the scrolls in those cubby holes is a DC check, a burial registry. So all the tombs below have a register of who was buried here and what tomb they're in. I haven't created that yet. Correspondence fragment of the Order of Heironeous. A vow ledger for the vows. I haven't created that yet. The scribe's desk. So this is all player handout stuff. That would be really cool, I think. The scribe's desk. This is what's on his desk, his personal journal, things like that. The noise references Duergar digging at night because the noise from below keeps him awake. Encounter. So this is what would happen in this room if there's a big fight or an encounter here. There's some DM notes about the evidence here, protecting the evidence, the scribe as an asset. The best non-combat prisoner is the Priory, this location. Sacred Lair, the Memory of the Order, the Burial Crypts, connecting to the broader campaign. The Rayo delegation that had this Gift of Beauty. Lacasse, who's the Temple of Elemental Evil agent in the city of Verbobonc. The Nulb supply line, so the players could cut that off. That goes to the hunting cabin. That goes to room 335 in the Temple of Elemental Evil. Lucius Graham, he's the boots on the ground agent for the Temple of Elemental Evil. Somebody has to be there on site to give orders or get past something, a note, or pass something, or take something from an agent out in the field, anywhere from the city of Verbobonc to any of these villages. Even Zach at the Inn of the Welcome Went. What's his face at the construction site in the village of Hamlet? Joseph. His name is Joseph. The doors here. Common player actions. I study the wall map. I read the ledger. So there you go. Again, on the right-hand side, facts. More facts, more linkable clicks that's related here. Room reference facts, like the sound. Quill scratching as if a scribe is present. A faint wind through the north windows. Okay, the Earth ledger right here. DM quick reference again. So with some DC checks. All right. So anyway, you guys can read this yourself. This is fan content. It's open to everybody to go to the website and look at it. All right. So that's 16. So 17. I'm just going over what I did all week. So 17 is the next location. This is Varnor's Earth Caller's quarters. Oh. Let me see if I can. It's in the downloads folder. No. I want a refund. I gave it to. I want to show you what the outline, but I guess I can't. All right. So to show you where these rooms are, they're all up on the north side of the complex. It's all laid out pretty well. This is Varnor. Earthcaller is the leader of this expedition of the Reavers for Romog. It talks all about it. The senior priest, highest ranking cleric of Heironeous, used to be here, and he took it over. He used to speak the dawn invocation. Light comes, I stand ready. That's a Heironeous thing. So it goes on about what they're doing here and who's taking over and why. Flavor text, what the room looks like. So the recarved prayer niche. So it goes into detail about what's inside the niche, DC checks. So it basically is clues here of the fundamentally what's been altered here. It's by what's his name? By Varnor. Stonefang is his magical weapon. Really badass. Let's see. His article. It's right here. So that's his hammer. That's Stonefang. And like I said, every major NPC has their own articles with background personalities, goals, a relationship chart. I mean, they deal with these people, you know, in the campaign. Things are happening. And that's why I try to write these letters too. So that way the players can investigate. Yeah, look at all this. This is one character article. Even dialogue. And stat block. So he's a 5th level cleric. I didn't want to make him too much more powerful than Romog because he's a 5th level cleric in the Temple of Elemental Evil. Plus, the players are probably around 3rd to 4th level by the time they get here. So I figured that'd be fine. Let's see. So back to the main room. So this is the room we're talking about. This is his room. He took it over. It's his now. So he did all this stuff. There's a thing about Stonefang and DC checks. The geomantic research table that he has here. Basically, he's got a Flan geomantic manuscripts that he's following. He's got excavation progress map that I worked on, and stone samples from below, and a journal that he has, and DC checks about all that stuff. The east window, the bed, encounters here. If what he's doing, is he studying? Is he praying? He's not here? You know how to handle all that as a dungeon master. His tactics in fight and combat, all laid out from round 1 through 3+. DM notes, running him as an encounter, some suggestions, DM notes, and a bunch of dialogue here. Stonefang as a campaign object. how to handle this in your campaign. The node revelation. Basically, the monastery wasn't just built near a holy site. It was built on top of a sealed evil. The Ozar's Oath daily prayers were just a devotion. They weren't just a devotion. They were maintenance of a divine seal to seal what's below. Their temple conquest wasn't just territorial. They broke the ward. Restoring the priory isn't just justice. It may be necessary to reseal the node. So there's bigger things happening here than that's on the surface. Sacred layer and the doors and common player actions. I examine the prayer niche. DC 12. All right, so top right hand corner is the artwork of this room, what it looks like. And facts, a room reference chart, facts. The floor is vibrating. It's faint but real. It intensifies at dusk. It stops for 24 hours if the dawn of invocation is spoken at dawn. Things like that. It's very useful to a dungeon master. And it's a quick reference and a bullet point. By the way, if you guys have any questions about anything about this campaign or this art or this material, please ask away in YouTube. I can answer them for you. And if you have any questions about your own campaigns too, you can go ahead and bring them up and we can talk about it. So this is a DM quick reference chart of a lot about this room. A quick reference because this is a lot to take in. You would probably want to read all this, of course, right? But while you're role playing in the middle of the game at the table, it's good to have these bullet points to reference. So this is his excavation journal that I created. That's done. And I also spelled it out below too, in case you want to copy paste. Artwork goes with it. I try to do that with all my menus too, because I know, you guys might be running it as a VTT online, and sometimes you want to copy paste something, and you really can't do that from a piece of artwork. Like you might want to copy paste like that sentence or something. All right, so that's 17. So 18 is the last one I did. I did this one today, actually. So this is Tharvik Stonehand's quarters. Knight Commander Council Chamber, the Azure Oath, now the War Priest Command Quarters. So he's just a tough guy. This is what he looks like. He has his own article and stat block. So that's him. He's an actual cleric, obviously. He's right there. Where's his spells at? 8th level. Oh, I might have to change that. Right now he's 8th level. So we'll see. So anyway, he has his own article. Everything you want to know about him and more. I always go overboard because you never know what you guys might need. All right, so back to the room. So this is his room, and everything the same thing. The war table, the carved wooden tokens, the red thread, the clay hills, the sacred notation near Sheer Knob. There's even little quotes here. LG, reports garrison doubled. Window closing. LG stands for Lucius Graham. He's the boots on the ground commander for the Temple of Elemental Evil out in the field. He's the Temple of Elemental Evil agent. DC checks, the stolen relics. They've been stealing relics from down below. So all the buried dead. They buried knights and paladins down there in the crypts. And so they've been stealing those relics and using them. Their men has been using them. So there's a shield of the Third Vigil, the Crust Gauntlet, the Notched Ceremonial Blade, the Paladin's Oath Ring. All this stuff is great material for somebody's campaign if you want to integrate that idea, that object into your campaign and connect it to something. It's really cool. And with DC checks. You can't play this game without DC checks. You know that? Tell Gary Gygax that. All right, so the Gift of Beauty. So this is where it's at. Right here. You're looking for the Gift of Beauty, right? You're on a mission to recover it. It's the most monumental, pivotal quest in the entire campaign. The Gift of Beauty. Ew is ordered to have it taken. He does not want the borders of Selene open again. Queen Yolanda sealed the borders from all delegations, from all trade, from diplomacy, and he does not want her involved in the coming Greyhawk Wars. The Greyhawk Wars is only a couple years away, and was going ready to make his move. He does not want Selene in the fight. He wants the Temple of Elemental Evil and the Second Rising to come up and just wipe out not only wipe out Verbobonc, but to divert the attention of the forces of good while Uis makes his move. The Gift of Beauty is that instrument. The Gift of Beauty is supposed to open up negotiations politics with Queen Yolanda. And the priest is a delegation of Rao priest from Voluna. And it's a chest full of gifts, divine gifts, beautiful pieces of art. It'll make her cry, make her want to open up her borders. Well, that's not gonna happen now. They hit that delegation going south. Right. I always tell you guys this every video. Right here, south of Ostburg. So anyway, the players get that quest, they follow up, they track it down here to the monastery. Lareth wants it too. So Lareth might hire the players to get them to attack it and take the Gift of Beauty for Lareth, or Lareth might send his men there to raid it with maybe help of the players. Depends what your players are doing, if they're pitching the different factions against each other type thing. And one of the Dungeon Masters is doing that, or two of them on the Discord. So anyway, the Gift of Beauty is 3 locks, by the way. Tharvok has a key, Romog has a key, and there's a Divine Ward. And Brute Force, if you want to use Brute Force. It triggers a Thunder Wave. So this is pretty cool. I actually have artwork for this thing. Faction tension. Tharvok believes it should be crushed ceremoniously right on the altar of the Earth Temple, ground into dust as a demonstration of the Earth Temple's doctrine. Stone outlasts beauty. That's a fact. Lucius Graham advises patience. He's the boots on the ground agent for the Temple of Elemental Evil. This gift has more value as a bargaining chip than any rubble. Romog, the commander of the leader of the Temple, Earth Temple, he has not decided yet. The delay frustrates Tharvok. He wants to destroy it. He wants to crush it into kibble. Lareth the Beautiful, though, has been maneuvering to claim it. Tharvok considers this the greatest present threat. Not adventurers, not for Verbobonc patrols, but the ambition of a rival temple operative. So that's kind of cool. It's a strong box with a bunch of stuff. His personal effects. Encounter here, if you fight him here or encounter him here. You can roleplay too, of course. Like I said, the best groups actually take advantage of the different factions and use them against each other. So they can roleplay through this. They don't have to kill everything. Running Tharvok, how to run him. If he's hostile, if the party attempts to talk to him, if they ask about the custodian here, Halvin, if they ask about the Gift of Beauty, that is not your concern. It is not my concern. It belongs to the temple. So there you go. There's some role-playing nuggets for you. The party mentions Lareth. He gets really mad. If they offered surrender terms, if they're offered surrender terms, I do not surrender to wind. So there's combat, round-to-round combat. What he does, he just kills a player, then he kills a player, then he kills a player. I love that kind of combat. Okay, his DM notes, the boss room, the Gift of Beauty, the seal, the sacred lair. Common player actions. I die and I re-roll a new character. That's the first one right there. All right, so the next one at the top right-hand corner is same old stuff. Facts, links, facts, quick reference chart, a big one. Look at all that stuff you needed to know. And then I decided to create the report. So this report was written to Romog, the commander of the Earth Temple, from Tharvok. He just wrote that letter. This letter has some monumental information in it about the Gift of Beauty and everything, about the people he's working with, the gnomes he's working with in Greenway Valley, the gnome clan that's actually raiding that other gnome wagon trains. So this proof right here is extremely valuable to the players. Oh yeah, there's a lot of information here. And forces are good, like Bern and Rufus would love to see that. I also wrote it out again for you guys, so you can copy paste. See, Tharvok has his own article right there. All right, so does Varnor, and so does Romog. There's Romog right there. Okay, so that's the last one. So I did that. Now let's go over this other stuff I've done. So the next project. Oh, we got people talking. It's what happens when you talk. I don't pay attention. So Damon said, I'm still curious, mate, as to why Yolanda sealed the borders in this campaign. In the context of the Greyhawk Wars, it made sense that the elves don't want to fight human wars. I think I explained it that they're mad because of they're still upset about what happened at the Hateful Wars and the expansion and the last fight with Heeland and Valuna. It's the Viscounty of Valuna, and they installed a Viscount there. And, elves live long lives, and 100 years is nothing to them. So it explains in her background why she closed the borders, actually. You just have to read the article. But it's original canonical lore. But it came from the Living Greyhawk series. And so that lore happened in 592 Common Year. But it's only 579 Common Year right now. I just moved it up a little bit. And it doesn't actually, I don't think it says in that lore exactly when she did this. So I took liberty to say it's happening now. This is great for this campaign. So the number one priority for this project is to make this 576 Common Year and 579 Common Year running the Temple of Elemental Evil campaign into this massive, awesome campaign, this epic sandbox version that all these great, exciting things are happening that the players can get engaged with. And I borrowed heavily against Living Greyhawk ideas. And another thing, the way I look at it is Living Greyhawk isn't necessarily canonical. It's possible future events. One of the reasons why I don't consider Living Greyhawk totally canonical is because there's a lot of Dungeon Masters making all those modules, and they were not consistent. They kind of did and a lot of stuff didn't make sense. Some of the stuff didn't make sense, and they don't have answers for. Like, they don't know where the border is for House Osbury is. I asked all of them. Nobody knows. So things like that, it's not confirmed facts about a lot of things, and some of it's contradictory. Different modules handled two things completely differently, like the Chest of Rayo and the Gift of Beauty. Those are two different chests. I think that's a mistake. I think there's confusion there between the people that wrote those modules. And I talked to them. I interviewed them here on this channel. So what I'm saying is it's great work, yes. Great ideas, yes. I love it. It really helps this campaign out a lot. But you can't 100% rely on it. The reason I know so very well about that is because I spent 8 years trying to decipher it. You won't believe the inconsistency and inaccuracy and the overlapping, and some modules I just have to completely ignore because they don't make any sense at all. It's like way off base. So there you go. So the number one priority is this campaign at this timeline. You got to remember that. That's the number one priority for the Dungeon Masters that want to run this campaign in a great epic version of it. All right, so Damien said, however, prior to they were just a little isolationist, but not cut off. Yeah, I don't know when that happened, though. Then you said, I think it is worth elucidating for the political aspect of the campaign. Well, I could look it up. So I have to open up another article. Let's see what here. I don't want to close that. Yolanda. So one way to find anything on the website, this is the main page, is just type in the search field, Yolanda. There she is. And these are all articles kind of related to her. All right. So what she said, I wrote this a long time ago. The death of Prince Tristan. So the path to isolationism is the death. So he died during the Hateful Wars. So it started when he died, and that event happened during the Hateful Wars. And then in the Greyhawk Wars in 582 Common Year, that's only 4 years from now. She refused to send aid to send aid to Ulick. Then the loss of Prince Fastel Dothmar. So first there was the death of this prince, Tristan, and then the death of Prince Fastal, mysterious disappearance of her recent consort. So yeah. So this timeline is extremely close to what we're going with in this particular campaign. So in this campaign, I gotta remind you again, the Greyhawk Wars did not happen yet. It's a possible event that might happen in the future. It's not canonical. And a lot of Dungeon Masters do not like the Greyhawk, the Greyhawk Wars campaign. They run a campaign without it. It never happened. Same thing with Living Greyhawk. So what I do is I consider all of these modules possible future events that could happen, and the players could possibly shape all that. And this timeline is really close. So see, obviously it became isolationist long before this campaign starts because of the hateful wars. So there you go. So there is no confirmed date once you close that border, saying that. And and so we don't have any confirmed date when it was cut off. But it's close enough campaign-wise, date-wise, that it's fine. It'll work for this campaign. So you just closed it. Gifted Beauty's coming to open that again. That's how it. And we want to use the Gifted Beauty because that's a wonderful, amazing campaign story thread for this campaign. That's happening concurrently with the rise of the second rising of the Temple of Elemental Evil. It fits together so well. It's such a great campaign shard to go with, event to really make things exciting and dramatic. And that whole idea of the Game of Thrones meets the Temple of Elemental Evil. All right, so what we did was, so we're working on this project with Don is a programmer, and I was going to have him on as a guest tonight, but it looks like he disappeared, so I couldn't have him on as a guest. And he's programming this app. It's a Dungeon Master command tool, and basically it's more than just the search field. You know, the search field, you're looking for like a word gnome or something, and you find that article. But it's just AI-derived tool will answer your question. Like, what will happen when this happens? What's the reaction? What's this NPC going to do? What's this organization going to do about this? And it'll give you answers with these links that you see on the screen here. Like, it'll if it mentions Jeet in the app in that response, it'll actually highlight his article, so you can click on it and go to his article. And I'll show you that in a second. So it's extremely useful for Dungeon Master because I actually tested it today with some Dungeon Masters in Discord, and they really loved the answer it gave. It really helped their campaign. And that was just one question. And you're expected to drill down on a few questions to, narrow down exactly what you need or want. Let's see. Hey, Rock the Hobbit, thank you for joining. We're just going over what I did all week. I appreciate that. Thank you for joining again. And Don Sanders. I'm here just hiding, just tested. Why did Yolanda close the Elven border? Oh, well, give me the answer. So Don's the one that's programming this app, and that's a good question for the app. So I tried to answer it. Let's see how the app answers it. So I have a question. So before I go into those questions about the app, I realized that I needed a new table of contents. So the table of contents is, let's see, to be organized for it to be able to find stuff in a logical way. So I can see I spent a whole day reorganizing this entire table of contents. So it makes a lot more sense. It's more streamlined. And all the important pivotal foundational articles are right here in the second one, the Viscounty, Politics, and Power. If I click on that, all the politics, law, military, and history is all in one section. These are very important articles. That's the foundation of this campaign world of Verbobonc. And that app really needed to narrow down that vital information quickly to move on to answering the original question. And so also the characters are divided up by role now. Nobles, nemesis, NPCs, priest, key NPCs, supporting cast, town and regional NPCs, commoners, and peasants. So that way, there's over 1,000 NPCs. And so this way, it made it a lot easier for that tool to look up these NPCs and figure out what they're about because it was getting confused. So that helped a lot. And I also reorganized the organizations and the factions. So I created even bandit groups here and dwarf clans. I didn't have that before, and humanoid clans. So it's all well laid out better, and pirate crews and stuff. The races and cultures are well laid out too. I added a dwarf one. I didn't have that before. The deities and religions are well laid out again. See that? Very organized, very logical for that app to be able to leverage this information. So I spent a whole day going through this very carefully. Had to move a lot of, and I also deleted a lot of empty articles or redundant ones. So I cleaned up the database a lot. Got rid of a lot of articles that we did not need. So I did that this week. And then as I was doing it, I had to rewrite the foundational articles like this one. It's a foundational, very important article about a lot happening in the politics of this campaign. So I rewrote this. I rewrote it completely. I made it a lot more structured, a lot more concise. All these bullet points are very specific, so that app can easily find this information quickly and accurately. So this whole article is completely rewritten. I rewrote. Let's go back here. I'll show you what I rewrote. I rewrote the Verbobonc politics, completely rewritten. A lot more useful than it was. A lot more. There's a lot of information there. In fact, so I divided this into sections in a logical order. So one's the Viscount, 2 is the Council of Lords, 3 is the Vigil Wardens, 4 is the Lord Mayor and the guilds, 5 is the Free Alliance of the Cron Hills, 6 is the Elven Enclave and the Dawn Quarter, 7 is a religious power structure here. And then 8 is the Temple of Elemental Evil, and then 9 is the local Thieves Guild, because they're part of the politics too. And how this all interconnects, what's happening lately, the latest stuff that's causing problems, all laid out here. The party's role in this crisis web, how to use this article as a dungeon master, and quick fact reference. So this article is miles more useful than the original one was. And I also added some artwork for summons in case the Council of Lords or one of these agencies sends a writ of summons to the players, and they will receive this to come to court, to come to the Council of Lords and explain themselves why they killed everybody at the Moe House. So anyway, yeah. So I even have a royal seal of the Verbobonc here to use on anything you want. So look at all that. This is one article I updated, and then I did the military. Did I do that? No, I didn't. I redid the Mounted Borderers. Yep, I redid that one. So this is a lot more useful, a lot more information here, and it's laid out much more logically with an organization chart, the different companies. Explained more about the Cron Hills withdrawal in 575 Common Year, political connections here to the military and all the lords. So this is all heavily rewritten with campaign plot hooks too, and DM notes on how to run the Mounted Borderers in your campaign. That's been added too. I also did history. I didn't test the history. Where's my government at? I have there it is right there. The government of Verbobonc. I didn't put that in a folder. This has been heavily redone too. A lot more detailed about the government here, how it all connects, how law works, the order of things, how it plays at the table. Why does this matter to the Temple of Elemental Evil? What they're, how they can use this to leverage what they're getting. So they have agents in the city. So a lot's going on here, and this article is greatly needed as a foundational article for running this campaign. So I went through a lot of these. I even redid Prince Jim too. I redid his article. He needed it. So I went through a lot of articles and updated them. So now this app that we're developing can be much more accurate and responsive. All right. So Don said, the answer is a bit long to send here. I sent a screenshot to you on Discord. Thank you. Okay. So Don, the programmer, he said, Trillian Triskarian, he's in Osford, by the way, defends the closure of the protecting Selene from the chaos and the corruption beyond its borders, and describes enforcing Yolanda's decree at Caer Ostfuk. Okay. So let me go ahead and pull that up for you. You just sent it. I don't know where you sent it to. Oh, you sent it privately. Okay, so this is what the tool looks like so far. We need to embed this into a website, so and pretty it up, make it look cool. But this is what we're playing with right now. So that's his question, and then it gives an answer. So as a Dungeon Master tool, as a Dungeon Master, you have certain questions about the campaign. How things work, how things interconnect, who responds to what, those kind of questions. The kind of questions you probably would ask in Discord and get answers from other people, right? Well, this app's going to do this for you. And this is the kind of answers you're going to get that we're still working on. We're still trying to smooth it out and work on this. A lot of details. Anyway, this is her response here. And sure enough, she pointed out the hateful wars. Good. What's great about this app is these are quick links. So all the citations and the NPCs mentioned in this response is clickable here. So you can actually go, this app will help you go to the articles you need to look at. Inferences. So inference is Yolanda's closure is an active enforced policy rather than a diplomatic posture. Since the border garrisons at Caer Ostwick implement the decree, the policy is contested within Selene with the Knights of Luna. So it talks all about that. Next steps, these are like opinions of this app, what you possibly could do. Question him at the border, consult the court, investigate petitions that are waiting at Caer Ostwick. So these are next step suggestions to the Dungeon Master, what to next you could do in your campaign. And this is just one example. And I actually have a better example. So the better example that I have is the one we asked about earlier. Is this it? Okay. This is another good example. So the question is the Broken Blades mercenary group in the village of Nob? So they will work for anybody. And those smart players will take advantage of that. But if they don't, they sit on their butts and don't leverage their relationship with the Broken Blades. One of the lesser temples could do the same thing because they're trying. Whoever offers the most money. So anyway, the question from the Dungeon Master is, if the Broken Blades were paid a considerable amount of coin to ambush Lucius Graham, remember he's the Temple of Elemental Evil agent on the ground. He goes around and gives orders to all those other NPCs out there and recruits. He recruits heavily. He's a priest of it. He's a priest of the Temple of Elemental Evil. What would be the likely outcome of such a confrontation? So that's a very vague question. It's not very specific, but it gave a pretty good answer, though. So you can follow up with more questions to narrow down a little bit what you're looking for. But this is the vague question he had originally. So a paid Broken Blades ambush would be a violent, uncertain clash. The Blades are experienced, opportunist cutthroats who have successfully ambushed convoys and will fight for coin so they can secure surprise and inflict serious casualties. Lucius Graham, however, is furtive and well prepared. He uses stealth and manipulation. He keeps agents at hand and can cast battlefield control and defensive spells. It lists them. It can turn an ambush into a counterattack or a controlled escape. Likely outcomes include a brutal firefight where the Blades win the opening strike, but Lucius either escapes under cover of magic or brings reinforcement spells to overcome the attackers. So this is a general answer, vague answer based on the vague question, right? And then it gives you the links. So you can, as a Dungeon Master, you try and figure out your campaign, right? And so this will help you focus on the relevant articles you need to look at. Then below, there's more useful information. So if the Broken Blades do achieve surprise, the inflicted heavy casualties quickly based on the prior successful ambushes. So they'd be pretty successful. Lucius is likely to avoid simple death in an ambush because of his prepared spells and the agents network that give him a strong defensive and escape options. They'll probably know what's going to happen before it happens. The encounter would escalate beyond melee skirmish. The appearance of summoned and animated creatures could happen too. He's got eyes and ears everywhere, and so he would know what's going down with the deal between the players and the Broken Blades somehow or another. That's probably what will happen. So what's the next step you should do? Well, you can stake out the waterside hostel to learn about the broken blades routines and whether Dren Havleth will accept a higher fee. You can re-encounter the determine if Lucis travels with agents or elemental minions, prepare counters to his spells, consider turning the blade's validity into a plot hook, exploit their factional schisms and bribes and blackmail Dren to sabotage the ambush. So this is a very useful response to a dungeon master asking such a question. And my expectations is to ask some further questions to define in the direction that the dungeon master wants to go in, to get some answers, because he probably has a lot of questions, and this will help a lot with that. And it's still a work in progress, and he's still working on the app coming up with more reliable and accurate information, not throwing an NPC into the answer that shouldn't be there. Like, why does he mention this NPC? He's in Twilight Falls, that sort of thing. All right, so Don Sanders, you said that. Thank you. Rock the Hobbit. Your World Anvil articles read like something written by someone who has complete command of the Greyhawk settings. Yes, thank you so much. I have been working on this. I've been running the campaign since 80. So what? 46 years. And I've been working on this campaign project for 8 years. So that's awesome. Thank you. And it just comes from working on it daily. I'm semi-retired, so I have the time to devote my attention to this every day. And I did this for the longest time just for free with no expectations of help from anybody. And now I'm lucky enough to have a strong Patreon community to help, encourage me and support me working on this every day. Enough to get me my coffee when I'm working on my articles. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's see. Okay, so what I did was I rewrote these articles, so I'm going to close that. I don't know why my front page does that. There. I hate that. It should start there. Okay, so the table of contents I redid. Yolanda, she's done. The ruins. Oh, something else I did this week. Okay, so on my private site, because you remember, this is like my elaborate Dungeon Master notes for running this campaign. I've been doing this for a long time, and I had this. The private site is my personal version of all this that I run for my group at my table. And there's a lot of copy paste. It's not all my writing. For example, on the Moat House, it's mostly just copy paste from the module that I put in there because of the linking stuff and the easy access and reference. It's a lot easier for me to reference the module. It's like my Dungeon Master notes. It's like if you took the Moat House and you wrote heavy notes with your pen and paper, it would look like this, right? Without the artwork. It's just a lot of notes. And all the rooms are heavily notated and organized, so that way I can reference it easily at the table. And that's why I did that on my private site. But I didn't rewrite it in my own words. I didn't add flavor text. I did a few times, I guess I did, and some dialogue. So anyway, yeah. So what I did was I took all that information. So what I realized was we're missing this location in the campaign world. So if we go to the map again, that's the Eastern Viscounty. So this map is the whole Viscounty. So if we go to the Moat House, it doesn't click anywhere. So I still need to connect this to that article. I still have to do that. Oh, did I attach it? Oh, I shouldn't do that. That's not good. Oh, because I'm logged in. See? It was like almost a duplicate of the module. I'm logged in, that's why I can see it. You guys won't be able to see that. So what I need to do is link this article that I rewrote in my own words. And this is not the module, just to be clear. This is just, not only is it my DM notes of this module, but it's a one-page, the history, his mission here, the politics, the logistics chain from the Moat House to the Temple of Elemental Evil, stage 1, 2, 3, and 4. Stage 1 is the Moat House to the Fens Cottage outside the Fens on the on the high road. From Trevel Fens Cottage to Nob along the high road, and from Nob, Madame Silentis and the Greater Temple men take over, and they take it to the hunting cottage, and then they take it to the secret tunnel to room 335. So I outline all that here. And then the graphic context of all the locations here. for his raiding. So this outlines all his raids, what he's raiding, the raids he sends his men on. The current garrison, I explained very carefully what the upper level brigands are. These are not Laris men. The dungeon level is his operation, and these are all the people. I need to make that a link. Goddess Void is a separate character article. The guards, I outline all the humanoid forces here and where they come from. King Govers Bona sent his bugbears, and King Gwawutar of the Knoll Fortress sent his gnolls. Ogre Lubas just came out of nowhere, and his zombies and ghouls. The prisoners and where they're from, and we had a discussion about that with one of the Dungeon Masters, Randy. He said, and Rouge Jadethorn is not a gnome. He's an actual halfling from this place. Gallows Corner. I gotta look into that. So anyway, he said I got that wrong. See, this is what the Discord's for. You guys need to get there and start correcting me. All right, so anyway, that's all laid out here. The key intelligent points of this location. Adventure hooks, like the gnome problem. You know, that gnome ring that you get from rescuing that gnome? What happens if Lareth dies? The new master. Who takes over if he leaves? Things like that. On the right-hand side is, this is a VTT map that you can use if you want to run it. And the facts of this place in bullet point referenceable. The holy symbol for the Greater Temple. Lareth the Beautiful, level 5 cleric, stat block, and 5e. Well, actually, no. I'm sorry. See the BT Ace +2? That's Castles and Crusades. Dialogue from him, his quote. He states that they will see the brigands. They will fight the brigands. They will think themselves clever for having dealt with the bandits who are raiding the roads. They will never look past the stairway they cannot find. Political disruption. So this is what he's trying to do. He's got the supply train going on. He's trying to do political disruption throughout the Viscounty, and these are his targets. His key intelligence value, and those gnolls are going to be a problem because they sent gnolls to the Greater Temple too, and they sent gnolls to the Black Earth Monastery. They're patrolling the grounds, so yeah, the gnolls could act up. That'd be bad for them. Okay, so yeah, I did this week. So I actually have a location article for the Mo House now that I can actually link to the interconnected map, the link up a map, interactive map. Okay, what else did I do this week? So anyway, I'm created a 3 Orcs website, and I'm thinking about adding my free fan content. Speaking of which, I keep forgetting about this. Okay, so I have like 6 modules already, PDF modules. I was selling these on DM Guild, and of course they said that I can't give these away for free and sell them on DM Guild at the same time. I can't offer this content on World Anvil at the same time. Either I have to close down World Anvil and sell on DM's Guild, or don't sell on DM's Guild and keep it on World Anvil. World Anvil is much more important than anything on DM's Guild, so because we've got a lot of Dungeon Masters actually running their campaign using World Anvil, including myself. There's no way in 8 years of work I'm going to close that down, and so it's highly needed. So I decided to give these away for free. And DM's Guild's not going to get a penny, which they already have. I sold a lot of modules on DM's Guild. So anyway, I gave away the side quest of Helmet and the Temple of Elemental Evil Leadership. You can click this and download it for free. And the Village of Ostwerk. And we just reached a new milestone. So I reached the next one. We're at 431 right now, or 432. So it looks like I have to unlock the next one. The next one is going to be Sheer Knob, the Village of Sheer Knob, and I'll go ahead and add it to this website today or tomorrow, so that way you guys can download that for free next. Then after that, it'll be a big milestone to reach the Village of Nob, that module to release. And we were thinking about closing this website down and actually putting all this stuff on the 3 Orcs website with that tool, but we haven't gotten there yet. I was thinking about having one 3 Orcs website. That'd be kind of cool. Okay, so also this week I posted a Session 2 recap for the Cult of Grey Orcus campaign I ran last week. So it's session 2, the entire session report. Some of you like reading that stuff. I created a blog. So the blogs, I showed you this article already, but I also create blogs about important articles too. And the information in these blogs are additional information beyond the article. So this information isn't, I don't say this stuff in the article. So this is more information, more DM notes, more stuff to help, just to tell you what this is all about, what to do, the solution, what could happen. So this is a really, it's this blog that goes on more information about how important that location is and how valuable it is to you as a dungeon master. So that's why I create those blogs too. And I always create those blogs for free. And there's another blog. So I redid the religion and Verbobonc article. And I did another blog about that, and how important it is in this campaign, religion is, and why. So this is a really good article. So the article itself tells you about the religion of Verbobonc, but this tells you how important that article is for the campaign. And then I also created a blog post for Greenway Valley, same thing. And then I did a blog post about one man. What's this about again? One man controls everything. One family. Oh, it's Hax, Lord Hax. Yeah, he's the tax man. He's the Lord Mayor of Verbobonc. Yeah, that's right. Okay, I remember now. I completely rewrote his article and House Hax. 2 articles. Oh, 3 articles. And this whole Patreon, this whole blog post talks about those 3 articles. The gentle trade winds. That's his company. They pretty much dominate. There's the picture of it right there. There's House Hax, and there's the gentle trade winds, and that's one of his ships. They dominate trade up and down the Verbobonc River and the docks of Verbobonc. And this explains about why those 3 articles are so important to this campaign and what could happen in the campaign. And maybe the art players will come across them. There's also a crisis. His daughter's missing. The air temple took her. So there's a lot going on here, and it's all linked. Can you imagine your players getting a boat and trying to dock here with their loot? Oh yeah. His taxmen will be there waiting for him. That'd be great. So this is a huge article. This is very, very useful in the campaign if you really want to bring it to life. So the next one I did was how to get the free PDFs. That's a pinned article. All right. So now I guess we need to talk about that. So I started working on the page for the tool. So this is what the tool is going to look like. So you can click on this to ask the lore. You're going to ask your question like we showed you before. And another one to build tonight's session. And another one to see which NPC will react to whatever's happening. I think that's all useful. There's some example questions here. We're thinking about like ask the lore option will be free. So anybody can come here and just ask their question. But if you guys really want more campaign tracking, like track what the NPCs are up to at all times throughout your campaign, where they're at, where your players are doing, what they're at, the date. So right here is you can input your date, the day of the campaign, the location that they're at right now, the active threads that they're currently involved with, the plot or the NPC. Any kind of unresolved quest that they haven't finished yet, like they haven't killed Larth yet in the moat house. And down here is any relevant factions that they're dealing with, like the Earth Temple or the Gnarly Rangers or something. I think the active threads will be like session reports. That's what we're looking at. And so you'll have to get access to have this tool track that stuff for you. You'll have to create an account. So it'll save all that for you. I don't know about printing it out, but it's going to track all that. So when you do ask a question, it's going to take all that into consideration in your campaign. The date, the location, the NPCs, the quest. So it'll narrow down more specifically, give you better answers, I guess, about your campaign and what to do next. Because this tool will give you suggestions what to do next too. It'll give you suggestion which NPCs at that village will be used by the Temple of Elemental Evil agent. Like Lucien Graham goes to Penwick and he recruits somebody to do something to the players because they're traveling through there, or spy on them or something. And so this tool will give you those suggestions, and it'll give you links to those articles too. So this isn't going to generate stat blocks though. It's not going to generate a campaign for you. But we're also working with Custodes. Custodes, he created an app as well. And he said we could use that as part of this as well, maybe. And his is a campaign. His does something else. His will actually create session reports and a campaign builder app that he programmed. Damon said, "I have to log out, mate. It looks looking great." Hey, Damon, thank you for joining. I hope you come around some more. I'd like to talk to you and do some more articles with you. You have a good night. We're down under in Australia. So this is what we're working on. I'm redoing the artwork too, making this layout look a lot better. I had a better design that I was working on. I'll see if I have it. So I work on my laptop at the coffee house, so as I'm writing articles, and a lot of my stuff is on the laptop, you know. And this is my home computer I'm at that I do my live streaming on. Yeah, I don't have that here. I shared it. Okay, I know where it's at. Discord. Oh, okay. So today I did this too. So basically, what's going down below in the ruins, this is a NPC hand-drawn map. It's not a VTT map. It's just a player handout. So this character that's investigating that black mouth down below the altar with the Duergar, he actually drew this out. So the players could get possession of this and be useful to them to help them explore the crypts down below. I haven't even started on the crypt map yet. I'm still trying to finish this top level. So I just want to show you that I made this today. I'm hoping it's still accurate when I get around to working on the second level. All right, so let's see. I got to find something real quick. So we have a private room for development for just us three. Custodes' campaign generator. That looks pretty exciting. So what I did is I put some artwork in here. Here we go. There it is. Okay, I found it. So this is kind of what I've mocked up already. So I thought that looks a lot cleaner. I don't know what you guys think. I think I like that a little bit better than the other version. It's more professional. I don't want to be too busy with a lot of artwork, which I tend to do. So this has an extra thing. Current session, ask the lore, build a session, who reacts. And then the session history is in the bottom left-hand corner. So I really like the look of that. And see the icons? See the icons there? Yeah, I created all those. Is that neat? Earth Temple. That's not right. Earth Temple isn't flames. There's a wizard hat. So that's pretty cool. I think this is a really cool tool because at any given time in your campaign, you know, what your players are up to, it'd be nice to be able to ask any kind of question. You know, if they're staying at the Inn of the Welcome Wench, they just killed Lareth. They've been drinking all night. A couple of them passed out drunk. They've been bragging about killing him. How long will it take for them to send a 10th level assassin to eliminate this party so they can start the campaign over? And this will give you that answer and who they're sending. So that's cool. Okay. I think we're almost done here. I know there's something more I worked on that I can't remember. But one more thing I want to work on. I have to mention. Sorry, I'm getting tired. The Verbobonc Campaign guide. So Randy is one of the Dungeon Masters, and he actually has a session report. So Lareth Pathfinder 1 build is pretty snappy. He's running his game online, a VTT, with Pathfinder. And his session report is, I didn't mention it last week, and I feel bad because we went overboard. We went over time limit. Oh, where is it? Recruiting. There we go. Here's what's about to happen. So, Custatus, we went over his already. Where did Randy go? Recruiting. I think, it's up farther. Well, it's pretty far back. Because Custatus had a session report. We went over that last week. I'm pretty sure. So the party killed an ogre. Okay, let's go down here. So the party was easily defeated. The party easily defeated the ogre with a handy sleep spell from Spugboy. Then, after a lot of technical computer difficulties they had, they managed to descend to the dungeons of Taris Nor. So he created this dungeon called Taris Nor. I think it's the air temple. Yeah, it's an air temple dungeon, I think. And he's creating that right now. And he's created the rooms in VTT. So he's got VTT maps. I'll show you them. See if those are the VTT maps he made. So the druid cast read magic on the pillars to find the magic ruins. They were written in Aran, instructions on how to power up the portal. He deduced that the incense was snuffed out, that the portal would lose its power. So the party started climbing up the pillars to disable the braziers. The dust pillar was successfully disabled. So the far end of the room round one. Meanwhile, our intrepid Alaric, whose player is always known for impetuous stupidity, went around the stairs, splitting up the party. He was met by two wizards, whom they were busy scribing scrolls, but heard the ruckus upstairs. They had some small amount of time to prepare. Since Alaric was not wearing any air cult attire, his call to parley was ignored. See, you could wear their outfits, and you could parley and roleplay with these ancient cultists if you want to. Sensing a ruckus, he overturned the table to hide behind. Unfortunately, the sleep spell doesn't care about corners or tables. He did make a save. I guess in Pathfinder you get saving throws for a sleep spell. I don't know what level he is. And now it looks like Rorik and Thyra, being wizards, might be in big trouble. But at the end of round 4, Zert went down the stairs. Zert, you guys remember who Zert is. He's one of the NPC hirelings at the the Welcome Wents. He's a Temple of Elemental Evil agent. So they recruited him. So he's with the party. So he went downstairs to find out what was going on. What do you think is going to happen with that lone party member all alone in the cultist treasure room? Yeah, he's going to gank him. So I guess that's where it ends. The end of the campaign, the end of the session right there. So that's his report. That's just what I wanted to get that out of the way. One of the session reports we had in our Discord. So if you guys have session reports, post them in the Verbobonc Campaign room. And we love to read that stuff and talk about them because it gives other Dungeon Masters ideas of what to do with their campaign. We also have a Patreon chat room where I post all my articles and artwork every day. So you guys to approve, discredit, comment, critique. So that way I can edit it right away. You get something wrong. And I also have other chat rooms too, to just talk about stuff. So if you want to support this, let's go ahead and end this now. We've been going on for about an hour and a half. So let me just go ahead and go full screen. Well, if you enjoy watching these live streams every week, please comment down below and like and subscribe. So that way you can get notified every time I do a live stream or other videos. And also, if you want to support the project, please, you can become a free member at Patreon and get access to all the free fan content stuff I post on there almost every week. But if you want to get access to the higher resolution versions of those maps and the menus and the letters and stuff, you have to be a member. But not only do you get access to that and VTT tokens when I do make them, which I'm going to make for this dungeon, by the way, you also support the project because I've been doing this for 9 years and this encourages 8 years and it encourages me to keep doing it every day. I spent 4 or 5 hours on this. Think about that. That's what I'm doing every day with my life. And so when you guys actually join, that encourages me. It keeps me in check and makes me want to keep doing it. It's like, I have to do this. I got to get something out. These guys expect it. And I'm expecting to get this tool off the door too, and so that way you guys have access to that as well. Well, I hope your players enjoy your campaign of the Temple of Elemental Evil as much as my players have done over the years. And you guys have a good week, and I'll see you then. Good night.